Beneath the surface of Canada's wild landscapes lie dark passages where history and horror intertwine. These are not just tunnels, they are gateways to the unknown, places where restless spirits linger, echoes of tragedy haunt the air, and shadows move when no one's watching. Tonight, we dive deep into the top 10 most haunted tunnels in Canada. Are you ready to face the darkness that hides just beyond the light? Stay close, because once you enter, there's no turning back. 1. Screaming Tunnel, Ontario, Canada. Deep within the woods near Niagara Falls, Ontario, lies the infamous Screaming Tunnel, a small, unassuming underpass that hides a terrifying legend. Locals say that if you strike a match at midnight while standing inside, the flames will instantly extinguish, and a girl's scream will pierce the silence. The story dates back over a century. A young girl, fleeing a burning farmhouse nearby, ran into the tunnel, her clothes engulfed in flames. No one came to save her. She collapsed in agony and died in the darkness, her screams echoing against the cold stone walls. Some claim her father, enraged by a custody battle, set her ablaze himself. Today, the tunnel is abandoned, overgrown with moss, yet still visited by those brave, or foolish, enough to test the legend. Many report sudden chills, flickering lights, or the unmistakable sound of weeping. Whether it's a ghost or something worse, no one stays long enough to find out. 2. The Tunnel at Niagara Parks, Power Station, Ontario, Canada. Beneath the historic Niagara Parks Power Station in Ontario lies a century-old tunnel, stretching over 2,000 feet toward the roaring falls. Built in the early 1900s, it once carried rushing water to massive turbines, but now it carries whispers of something far more sinister. Workers reported strange sightings even during construction, shadows flitting through the dark, sudden drops in temperature, and eerie mechanical groans when no machines were running. Some claim to see figures in old-fashioned uniforms, staring blankly before vanishing into the stone. Since its reopening to the public, visitors have felt watched. Cameras malfunction. Unexplained footsteps echo behind tourists who find themselves completely alone. A few have even collapsed from panic after hearing ghostly voices whispering their names. The deeper you walk, the more the air thickens. Time feels warped. And near the tunnel's end, just above the raging Niagara waters, many say you can hear screams, not from the falls, but from something beneath. 3. Lower Spiral Tunnel, British Columbia, Canada. Carved deep into the mountains of Yoho National Park, British Columbia, the Lower Spiral Tunnel was engineered to prevent deadly train accidents on the Kicking Horse Pass. But instead, it became home to a haunting legacy. In 1907, a loaded train lost its brakes and derailed near the tunnel's entrance. Dozens of lives were lost, twisted metal, fire, and screams swallowed by the rock. Since then, conductors and hikers alike have reported chilling encounters. Some see ghostly figures wandering the tracks, frozen in time. Others hear phantom trains roaring through the tunnel, only to find the rails empty and silent. The air turns icy without warning, and whispers echo from the walls, speaking languages long forgotten. Rail workers avoid night shifts near the spiral. Locals say the tunnel is cursed, its spiral not just a feat of engineering, but a trap for the restless dead. And once you enter, something unseen always follows. 4. Princeton Tunnel, British Columbia, Canada. Hidden within the forgotten rail trails near Princeton, British Columbia, the Princeton Tunnel cuts through the mountains like a scar. dark, cold, and eerily silent. Once part of the historic Kettle Valley Railway, it hasn't heard a train in decades, but it hasn't gone quiet. Locals whisper of a worker crushed by falling rock during construction. They say he was never recovered, entombed within the tunnel itself. Ever since, strange things have happened. Tools vanish, disembodied footsteps echo, and an icy breeze blows even on windless days. At night, hikers report glowing eyes deep in the tunnel. Some say they see a lantern swinging slowly in the distance, then vanishing without a trace. Phones die. Voices call out from the shadows, pleading, warning, or mocking. The deeper you go, the heavier the air feels. And just when you think you're alone, a whisper brushes your ear. The Princeton Tunnel is no longer a passage through the mountain. It's a doorway into something that never left. Five, St. Clair River Tunnel, Sarnia, Ontario. Beneath the dark waters of the St. Clair River in Sarnia, Ontario, lies one of North America's oldest underwater rail tunnels, completed in 1891. A marvel of engineering at the time, and now, a corridor of whispers and dread. During its construction, dozens of workers perished, drowned, crushed, or lost in sudden cave-ins. Their bodies were never recovered. Some say their spirits still linger, trapped between iron and water, seeking escape. Train operators report sudden malfunctions when passing through. Cold spots appear out of nowhere. Shadows move against the tunnel walls, and low moans echo through the steel, even when no train is scheduled. Locals claim the tunnel breathes, a deep, unnatural rhythm that vibrates the ground late at night. Some hear tapping on the walls, as if something, or someone, is trying to claw its way out. Today, the St. Clair River Tunnel remains in use, but those who know its history never ride through without saying a silent prayer, because beneath the river, the dead are still waiting. 6. The Tunnel of Flags, Greenwood, British Columbia. In the quiet town of Greenwood, British Columbia, lies the Tunnel of Flags, once a mining passage, now lined with faded national flags. It looks like a tribute, but locals know it hides something far darker. Originally blasted through solid rock during the gold rush, the tunnel saw countless deaths from cave-ins, gas leaks, and explosions. Miners vanished without a trace, their bodies never recovered. Since then, strange things have plagued the passage. Visitors report sudden drops in temperature, distant whispers in languages no one can identify, and the sound of pickaxes striking stone, echoes from a time long gone. Some have seen shadowy figures standing motionless beneath the flags, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Cameras malfunction. Time seems to stretch, and those who walk through alone often emerge, changed, disoriented, shaken, and certain they were not alone down there. The Tunnel of Flags may honor many nations, but its walls remember something older, something buried, and still watching. 7. Brockville Railway Tunnel, Ontario, Canada. Beneath the streets of Brockville, Ontario, lies the Brockville Railway Tunnel, the oldest railway tunnel in Canada, completed in 1860. Restored with glowing LED lights and music, it now welcomes tourists. But beneath the modern shine, something ancient still stirs. Long before the tunnel reopened, railway workers told of ghostly figures walking the tracks, silent men in 19th century uniforms, eyes hollow, faces pale. Some claim to hear screams trapped in the stone, or the distant roar of a train that never arrives. The further in you walk, the colder it gets. Lights flicker, phones freeze, Visitors report sudden dizziness and the feeling of being watched from just beyond the glow. Locals say a worker was buried alive during the original excavation. Others believe the tunnel crosses an ancient burial ground. Whatever the truth, many who've dared to walk through alone say they returned. Not alone. Brockville's tunnel may be beautiful, but something beneath it is still waiting in the dark. 8. Audra Tunnel, British Columbia, Canada. Deep in the mountains near Niagara, British Columbia, the Audra Tunnel lies sealed, forgotten, and swallowed by forest. Once part of the Kettle Valley Railway, it was abandoned in the 1930s, but the legends it left behind never faded. During construction, workers reported strange tremors and unexplained accidents. One man vanished inside without a trace. They say his screams echoed through the rock for days, long after the search was called off. Locals claim the tunnel is cursed. Campers nearby hear metal scraping against stone, as if a phantom train still claws through the darkness. Some have seen lantern lights flickering deep inside, though the entrance has been sealed for decades. Those who find a way in speak of overwhelming dread, disembodied whispers, and sudden, suffocating cold. One hiker swore he heard a voice beg, "Don't leave me here." The Audra Tunnel may be sealed to man, but whatever's inside was never meant to escape. 9. Othello Tunnels, British Columbia, Canada. Carved through solid granite in the cliffs of Coquihalla Canyon, British Columbia. The Othello Tunnels were once part of a deadly railway route. Now a tourist path, the tunnels echo with more than just footsteps. They echo with the past. Built in the early 1900s, the construction claimed many lives. Workers crushed, swept away by floods, or simply vanished into the canyon's depths. Locals say their spirits never left. Strange cries bounce off the walls at night, long, hollow, and not quite human. Visitors report the sudden stench of smoke, though no fire burns. Shadows slither across the walls, just out of reach. And sometimes, just before dusk, people hear an old train whistle in the distance, even though no train has passed in nearly a century. The deeper you walk, the darker it gets. Not just the light, but something else. Something watching. The Othello tunnels may offer breathtaking views, but some say what breathes within them isn't alive. 10. Townline Tunnel, Ontario, Canada. Hidden beneath the quiet roads of Ontario, the Townline Tunnel is an old railway passage with a dark past. Built in the early 1900s, it was once a vital link. Now, a place where shadows linger and silence screams. Tragedy struck here multiple times. Several workers died during its construction, some crushed by falling debris, others lost to mysterious accidents that were never fully explained. Locals whisper that their restless spirits haunt the tunnel, forever trapped in its cold, damp walls. Visitors speak of sudden chills, disembodied footsteps, and faint voices echoing from the darkness. Flashlights flicker and cameras fail, as if the tunnel itself is alive, watching, waiting. Few dare to enter after dusk, for the Townline Tunnel is more than stone and steel. It is a gateway to forgotten souls, whispering warnings to those who listen too closely. These tunnels aren't just forgotten relics of the past. They are prisons for souls trapped between worlds, whispering secrets to those brave enough to listen. Which of these haunted passages sent chills down your spine? Would you dare step inside, knowing what might be waiting in the shadows? Comment below with your bravest choice, and don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying journeys into the unknown. Remember, some tunnels are better left unexplored.